Hello and welcome to the second season of Insights from Elsewhere podcast. My name is Cynthia Portugal. I am Brazilian and I live in São Paulo, Brazil. And I'm the growth director at Insight Platforms. Insight Platforms is an online media business that helps researchers find new tools, learn how to use them, and see what's coming next in the insights industry. We host a directory of companies, we run conferences, and we create content for insights professionals. And we created this podcast to go beyond the big insights markets of North America and Western Europe. We are going to take a look at insights professionals from LATAM, Asia, Africa, and elsewhere to find out how they are doing research, their experience with research technology, how they influence back their headquarters with their local nuances and insights, and we will learn some curiosities and opportunities about those regions that sometimes are not in the light of things. Today, I have a very special guest. I'm going to talk to Irina Mukhametova. She's from Kazakhstan, and she is the Advanced Nutrition Category Director for RG Brands, now part of PepsiCo too. RG is a beverage company responsible for several local brands in the region. And in her background, actually, she includes a lot of CPG companies, especially in the area of beverages, foods, and snacking sectors. She's done research all over Central Asia, Caucasus, Russia, China, and Mongolia too. So she knows a lot about the differences and nuances of the countries in the area. Welcome to Insights from Elsewhere, Irina. It's a pleasure to have you here with me today.
Hi, Cynthia. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's really been honored to be part of this podcast. Thank you for introduction.
It's my pleasure. Now, tell me about your journey into market research. How did you get here?
Oh, that's a really interesting story. I've spent more than 20 years across marketing research, brand strategy, and brand growth in emerging markets. My research knowledge evolved not pure academically, but due to business needs, business-driven growth necessity. Research became for me like a essential thing for validation of my decisions. So I would say that often marketing is like a football. People, everyone thinks that they are authorized to give you an advice, the colleague, friends, everybody. But in reality, yes, you to go straight forward and exactly research became that base you can rely on and validate your decisions.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't tell how many times I heard someone saying, "What should you should do about that product?" People really think that they can give advice to marketing strategies.
Oh, yes, that's favorite, and I understand them very well.
Yes. Tell us about some nuances and differences between those countries that make a difference in terms of research and how you think marketing for those countries, for example.
And let me start from the history, how it started.
Yeah.
First of all, yes, former Soviet Union countries, we very rapidly shifted from plant economy to market economy. And this is very different. And just big global companies who did it very quickly, they just captured the market. In general, our markets look like a very consolidated market, just 3, 5 play take mostly 90-95% of total share of market. Yes, and I
Yeah.
think up to middle of 2000s, there was mostly one communication. Can you imagine for all these countries? Yes, starting from
Wow.
Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, one communication, and actually really happy that we are moving from this to domestic peculiarities because we have different languages, we have a different religion, we have different values, different markets. So this absolutely different markets, and what work in one market, it doesn't work in another market. Here, even here in Central Asia, if we are talking, for example, about Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. So, for example, if you ask people something, they usually say, okay, it's okay. But in reality, what does it mean? It is a very polite way to reject. So,
Okay.
yes, it doesn't mean okay.
Okay, I don't like it.
Yes, actually doesn't mean anything. Yes, even if you integrate AI into research, it's not easy to interpret all these meanings. That is about Kazakhstan. And also people prefer to impress people that they have better lifestyle. So we have usually very premium products, looks really nice. Yes, even last purchase, yes, what do they prefer? But for example, if we compare with Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyzstan is really interesting. Very, very straightforward. They always say what
Okay.
they think. It is mostly the same people. But how do they say? They
Yes.
prefer to say negative feedback. They think that is the way for them to express their opinion, how to improve. That's a big difference.
Okay. Yes.
Again, very different. Now, Uzbekistan, I think it is one of the fastest growing country in this region because if we compare with Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, the development started at the beginning of 2000s. But in Uzbekistan, it was a bit later. And I think now is the golden age of Uzbekistan. What is the difference? The
Yeah.
man shopper is men, not women, as in our region. Or yes,
Okay.
men take a decision, yes, what they should buy. He do shopping, everything, yes. And even yes, if we ask women, as we do in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, I don't think that you will get correct answer.
Oh my God. So if you don't know this and you do research, you get things completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And what is interesting in our countries is that, for example, Kazakhstan is a huge country. Distance are huge. Almaty and Astana are main cities, and it makes more expensive. And if you want to other cities, and so when you do research, so you have more urban ideas and values, but not of other regions people.
Wow, that's amazing. Thinking about the market research, like ecosystem and landscape, how does it work? What are the major players in the region and how companies work with the different players and everything?
The beginning, it started from very simple, from Nielsen IQ. The companies were interested just in the market size, in share of market. Even not companies within the country, global head offices were interested in it. So quantitative research was a priority. It was a low-hanging fruit. It was quite easy just to get volume. Just do distribution, media support, and you'll get volume. But with every year it became more and more difficult, and marketing research became essential because now it is not so easy and you need to find the opportunities. First of all, yes, global FMCG companies, main contributors in research growth, of course. Yes. Uh, for example, Coca-Cola, yes, Pepsi, they invested a lot because they need to find more new occasions to drive business. Even such companies like Nestle, yes, actually at the beginning they didn't focus on research. It was how it worked. We got
Yes.
one research, for example, from Russia, usually from Moscow, and it was integrated across all these countries, thinking that we have more or less similar mentality and it works for all countries. The same for other regions. So they do one big research, one big strategy, and
Yeah.
split it across the world, across all these countries, but actually it doesn't work. Yes, first of all, this is a big FMCG companies. And then media agencies, they developed like Kantar, TNS, but they did it mostly for validation of their media data, like
Okay.
information. So we have from one side FMCG companies and from another side,
Yes.
yes, these media agencies like to get each other.
Yes.
Recently, with development of AI and do-it-yourself, these researchers here we use one of the most popular is Yandex. Yes, engine, the same Google, mostly the same, but we use it here in Kazakhstan. It became more and more popular. And now what I see is that research market growth in Kazakhstan is about 20% in comparison.
Wow.
Yes, yes,
That's a lot.
yes, in US. But
Yes.
it develops every year, and startup do plays its role because research became more available. Growth is not easy as it was before,
No.
and we need this research. We are ready now to invest. Before it was not like this. Yes, I even had an idea maybe 10 years ago. I wanted to establish my own company with digital research because it was super
Yeah.
expensive and it was very difficult to the budget for research. But
Yeah.
why we need it? First of all, we need it not just part of strategy. I need it for to defend my strategy, to defend my ideas. And even big investors, they are interested in research just because it lower the barrier of entering into the country. Well,
Okay.
difficult. It is, as I said, very consolidated market, very
Yes.
expensive distribution. And in order to lower risk, to understand where is this white gaps, how can we do it? We need this research. This is more about necessity than the part of the strategy.
Yeah. So I would imagine that innovation plays a big part the growth of research for this, right? Because they need to understand different aspects of those markets. Otherwise, the innovation can even go in there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because
Mm.
even with these innovations, before, frankly speaking, it was easier just to launch the product without any trust, without any research. It was even cheaper. But now they understand
Okay.
that is the cost of mistake is much more expensive, and with all these digital research tools. So better to test the flavor, the brand, everything you can do it. Yes, better to
Yeah.
make focus groups. So all this one common communication is not working. So you have to pay a lot of media placement, and so yeah, uh, priorities
Yeah.
are changing, and I'm really glad about this because I love research. This is my it helps me to validate my ideas, my strategy.
To see if you are in the right path.
Yes, exactly. Because before we did it everything just intuitively. We do our own
Okay.
research. For example, I had the girl in my team. I hired her from research company from Ipsos.
Yes.
You know why? Because I
Uh,
needed something to do, or yes, to continue with research. So together with her, we organized focus groups. So do it yourself.
yes.
It works.
And one thing that I would like to check with you, I often hear in other regions and even here in Brazil, the pressures the client side and the brands are when you think about fewer resources, a lot of pressure for huge margins and all those things. And on top of all this basic business pressure, a lot of pressure to use more AI in everything, no matter where, no matter what.
Mhm.
How is this happening there? If it is happening, do you have these pressures and how do you deal with them?
Yeah, of course, we have this pressure. And just because our market, we have a very volatile currency. We have inflation,
Mhm.
and we have to report our profit in dollars. During
Yeah.
inflation, devaluation, about minimum 15% per year.
Yes.
But in dollars, sometimes it could be about zero. But
Yeah.
can accept from emerging markets zero growth of profit.
Yes, of course.
Yes, AI. This is really a necessity for us because sometimes we don't have enough of resources. How even from human, how to analyze all this even sales data. When you are limited in
Okay.
resources in buying additional researchers, not just to have one, for example, retail data, but qualitative research. Do we really need to invest in this brand? Will it provide us a return of investment? Yes. And the main
Yes,
pressure, yes, of course, is very pragmatic. Every
of
research
course.
should bring us, of course, incremental sales. Yes, we
Yeah.
yeah. I think in most of countries it is happening. Yes, if we buy, for example, brand health breaking, so we have to find a way how to bring it into valuable results. How can
Yes.
use focus groups and to make really nice communication, which will capture our audience. And the
Yeah.
biggest problem, of course, that we have lack of information. And due to this lack of information, AI really helps.
Thinking about like the situation of the region and this variety, and you worked with big global brands. What are the things that headquarters often get wrong in the region? And then how you work this out with them, because I bet there are a lot of things the headquarters think, oh, this is going to work, this is going to go, but what are the things in the region that they do not take into account?
Yeah. First example which I have in my mind is that usually headquarters have their own strategy and the top, for example, 3 priority brands, and they want
Yeah.
to launch it worldwide. So this happened not only with the company where I worked, but with my
Yeah.
colleagues who work in different companies. They decided that we need to launch this product globally. But they often don't ask, do we really brand name? Do we really the taste? And the most important, what is marginal contribution? And what is should be
Okay.
how can we do it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's one reason. Yeah, very famous brand. I don't want to call here. Yes,
Yeah.
3 times in Kazakhstan, this brand, and finally, in a third time, they did it. But they said we
Wow.
will fire everybody unless it won't be successful. Another interesting question that usually headquarter, they have one big research. Based on this research, they have one strategy, and they want to implement this in our countries. They often think
Yes.
that, for example, doing it when they do it for Russia, that it is acceptable for Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. Very simple example. Worked in baby food, and in the
Yes.
main commercial, they showed the dog. It is nice, it
Okay.
is cute, but it is not acceptable in our culture. A newborn, you showed the dog. We really love pets, but better not to show this.
I wouldn't imagine this.
Yeah, very simple. And if we want to make something domestic, it is again very difficult to change strategy and to prove that this won't work here in our countries. We need to change a little bit. I don't say about casting. We need to use
Yeah.
domestic faces, yes, domestic behavior and domestic values, but also sometimes domestic occasions. It could be different.
Oh, yes, of
Yeah.
course.
And another, I think that's my pain. Yes, we have in my scope up to 8, 9 countries. Every
Yes.
country is not so big. Kazakhstan is okay, 20 million. But for example, Kyrgyzstan, 5 million, 5 million, not so big population. And every
Yeah.
country require their own language. They do not accept
Yes.
stickering or whatever. And you have to find the way how to put all these languages in one packaging.
Oh
Because
my God.
to meet minimum volume requirements, and
Yes.
you have to be a market leader. And even being market leader is not so easy, yes, to get all this volume.
Yes. That's why I cannot read packaging anymore. Like it's so much information, very tiny letters. And Irina, what does data collection, like field work, looks like in the region?
Data collection, first of all, we rely on, for example, Nielsen IQ,
Yeah.
rely on global data. But what is important to say is, for example, even Nielsen IQ operates just only in Kazakhstan and Russia.
Oh, it doesn't cover everything.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work in
Okay.
Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and all other countries. It is quite difficult to get correct and accurate information. So maybe you can evaluate the market size, main players, but to go deeper, it's quite difficult.
Yes.
I'm really thankful for that we finally to the moment when AI can help at least to combine all this data, like global data, which is available in Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, use global data. I use our own sales. I use Nielsen. I use
Okay.
whatever research I have into AI, and in
So
order to understand one common pattern, what is exactly happening in the region, because it's very different, and it is not accurate, and when it is not enough accurate, how can you be sure that you will reach this volume, especially if
yes, I
you
can
have,
imagine that.
yeah, but a very big portfolio with a lot of SKU. You need at least to help why we need this research, why we need to invest our trade investment, our marketing budget in these SKUs, why it is potentially big. Yeah, so we can't just launch it just because we like it. Somebody else. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. And thinking about these AI tools, do
Yes.
you face any challenges when using AI to try and think behavior in specific countries or anything? Or what is the use of AI? Did you face any difficulties when using AI to help you understand those countries that you have less access to data?
Yeah, unfortunately, we always face with these constraints. Before, many years ago, we thought that AI will replace us in future, but in reality, I have to double check, not
Thank God
even two
not.
times. Still, yes, if we don't
Yes.
know. But at this period of time, of course, you do all this, and at least you have to understand the markets in order to evaluate how correctly it analyzed database. Even when it analyzed big data, how it analyzed just statements, but there is no
Mm.
insight. What is really drive consumers and shoppers to make this purchase? How do they think? And as I said at the beginning, our okay in Kazakhstan doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
uh,
Yes, I can see that. And thinking about the benefits, I think one of them you said being able to go through large amount of data. But any other tangible benefits of using AI?
Oh, yes, really. It helps us to replace a missing layer. We don't have enough of resources to analyze even our internal sales data. Just to analyze research, but we can analyze in one way, AI will analyze it another way, and we have to summarize, we have to connect all databases into one common pattern. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And how much time it will take. Yes, and sometimes you just say, okay, I'll do it later. You don't prioritize, but now it is much easier. You get ready patterns, and so you just check if it how it works, if it really appropriate for our market, if it is really you feel you have some intuition.
Yeah.
Confirm your ideas.
Yeah. That's amazing. And what, like, you are in the brand side, and you said in the beginning that research is what helps you understand. So you said in the beginning that it helps validating your ideas and checking out what you think, see if it resonates with consumers. What is the journey when you want to buy research or to purchase a tool or a platform for research? What is the decision journey for you? How do you discover these tools? What do you consider when you're buying a tool or something?
Yeah, as I said before, in our country, research is more about necessity. It's like
Yeah,
part of the strategy. We book the budget for research. Of course, it is mandatory, for example, retain research, but additional research, we have the project, how it started. We have the plan, we have the strategy. And
yeah.
every idea, every statement is better to be by research results. So at
Okay.
least, and it is quite easy to continue since any launch, any projects require at least not only financial, but human time resources. And we don't have time for this. And sometimes we are said to launch a new brand or whatever just in a few months. But how can you do it without research? How can you prove that this idea, this platform, this communication will work? How can you be stay ambitious to, for example, to fight in a very consolidated market for when big
Yes.
brands. It is yeah, not like in the US. We have just five, six brands, and that's all. We don't have big choice. So we call usually such brands like A brands, who take about 90% of total share of market, and B brands, very small brands, usually from local companies. They don't have enough of resources for distribution or whatever. Can
Yes.
we gain market share? And only research can help.
Yes, of course. So you have to go through this way saying this is the only way for you to grow in order to be able to purchase a research. So
Yeah,
this is what makes it
exactly.
purchase. It's
To
a
defend.
completely different.
Yes, I need to
Yeah.
secure, yes, that it is risky to launch in a consolidated market. But I have to find a way, we exactly with research, that this is our wide gap. And if we do this, we can win.
Do you have any example when you had the research and things didn't quite work and people got back to you? Okay, we paid the research and still we haven't got the results we expected.
Yes, sometimes we had this thing that, yes, you do your research. We launched quite in a quite small segment in energy drinks, but it was about natural energy. As a natural
Okay.
energy doesn't exist in Kazakhstan. It was between
Okay.
carbonated soft drinks and between energy drinks. These are very
Yeah.
huge categories, and we wanted, and very difficult to compete within these giants like Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Red Bull, for example. And what is the
Yes.
way? How can we and then we do all this research, and what we found out, market became is very small, and he is a big
Yes.
risk. Do we really need to in this market? Do we? What is the sense behind, or what else about the market size? Or, for example, we see that it was just an amazing example. We had so high to purchase the product.
Ah,
We wanted to launch aloe vera flavor beverage drink.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Well, that's awesome.
interesting.
Yeah.
Intent to purchase is very high, the highest among all other super popular flavors. But number of
Oh my God.
yes, so it was not easy to validate this research because they said, look at these numbers. Anyway, yes, it was confirmed but postponed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember when something you do a research and everything works out perfectly, that's fine. But then if we do the research and things don't quite work that way, it's the problem with the research.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
The
especially
problem
this.
is how you did the research. Something about the research was wrong. It's never the whole strategy or the whole planning that was incorrect or something. So I think sometimes insights play this role where you don't know if they are the heroes or the villains. It's messed up, right?
Yeah. And now AI really helps in this. So I
Yeah.
upload internal sales, global data, retail, everything, including yes, one of this research, and say yes, mix it and find why out one pattern, and then you don't need even to say this is my job. I prepared. I said this is I. This is AI conclusions, triangulation.
Yeah. So, yeah, thinking more about AI. So, you talked about doing things faster, looking more things. How do you see the future of insights with the recent developments of AI? What do you think? How you think these innovations will help even further in the future?
Before preparing to this podcast, I found
Yeah.
out one interesting article. It was exactly just a few days ago. And there was a
Yes.
big discussion between big local marketplaces about research. And they were first who said, we need insights, we need research. They are owner of huge about consumers. They sell it
Yes.
to FMCG companies, but they said it's not enough. We need really qualitative research. We need to understand at least a journey of this purchase. And of course, with a development of this innovation and AI digital instruments, I see new, especially startups, tech companies, they started to invest. They became the driver of growth of research markets because they
Yeah.
understand that it's better, it is cheaper now to make research, to get results, to understand if they're doing working in the right way, because you
Mm.
or just waste time. I think now this digital research about 40-50% from total market. And this is one of the main growth because any ideas now I can very quickly validate just 1 week and I have results, even less.
I also remember in the past, you have to wait 3 months to do like campaign validation, traditional way. Show people the ad, they will respond, you collect a lot of people and then analyze. It would be like 3 months between starting and finalizing the project. And now you can do this almost in minutes if you use predictive technology or things like that. Or even if you ask, in 1 week or a few days, you can have consumer responses as well. I think that's amazing. This is impressive. And it helps companies to use more of research because many times I had to make a choice. If we do research, we will not launch this in time. So we may not do research for this project if that's the case. So I think it helped us to make more informed decisions too.
Yeah, exactly. And with this digital research, we can reach very far regions to check not only big cities, but very far cities,
Yeah.
especially if we focus on mass segment or economy segment.
Yes.
We can understand. We can easier find our target consumer. maybe we are even alone with our target consumer, and our target consumer is another person.
I would like to talk to you about career, market research career. How is it shaping out in your region? How do you see that evolving? Do you have like young professionals entering the field? It's not a traditional field. How is it going? How is it developing when we think about insights careers?
Mm. If we start from academic point of view, we don't have a specific subject as research. It is just part of marketing in general. But young specialists come from marketing, from this is business driven necessity.
Yes.
Yeah, they start maybe at the beginning when they are junior, they are not so rely on research. But if they want to develop, if they want to be promoted, at least they have to prepare strategy. And we are always ask, yes, how do
Mhm.
you, yes, you have a lot of idea, but you need to validate your ideas. Yes, at
Yes.
least, and they understand, yes, that any ideas is not just should be from my head. It should be based on something, based on analytics, based on research. And what I see that more and more people are coming. Actually, all people are dreaming about marketing and they enter into reality. Yes, because at the beginning they think this is just about shooting commercials or social media. Yes, in reality, exactly this research is the base and fundamental to make next step.
And what do you think are the challenges for the leaders in marketing area when thinking about the newcomers and these ways of thinking? What do you think leaders should do to train or to encourage the new people entering the market?
I always tell to my team, talk more with people. You should understand what they think about the product. Why do they consume? How do they make a choice? So at least if you don't have access to research, ask several people. Don't get one opinion. Don't use your own preferences in marketing. It should be market. Look at the trends. Look, be predictive and
Yes.
always
Amazing.
how it can be scaled up, yes, for other markets, for other regions. And of course, we are pioneer driven marketers. And of course,
Yeah, everyone.
for me, is a return of investment. Yes, is first of all. So any launch, any ideas should be proved. Yes.
Yes, I think this is the word that I'm listening more and more often over the past few months. ROI. Everyone is talking about this. So, just a few more questions. What's your favorite insights methodology?
Oh, before really adopt focus groups where I could stay, listen to the answers. But now, again, I repeated this several times during this podcast triangulation. When you can connect all available databases into one pattern with AI. That's my favorite, really. Yes, when you see, so you don't just rely on one source, yes, of research. So at least when there are some gaps, you can overcome it with other data.
I'm I was asked this in a podcast a few months ago, and I said, like, data analytics, like the possibility, because before it would be all in our minds. If we leave the company, no one would have this knowledge, and research that you do would just get lost in a pile of other researches and everything. So I think the magic with AI is being able to use and reuse information for much longer time and analyze trends, things that take a while, and we don't have eyes or to look into every single thing the company has done for the past 15 years. So
Yeah.
this will never happen. So I think AI is like this key for looking into all the data that you have available.
So, yeah, agree.
And what is, yeah, what's the coolest thing, like insights, trend, or innovation that you've heard of?
In our countries, AI develops a bit different way since we are emerging markets and we don't have developed, for example, CRM systems. For example, in US,
Yeah,
it exists for decades, but in our countries, just maybe few companies have it, and we don't have this regulation, legal requirements, so it is much easier to implement all this. And now,
yes,
when you can, yes, implement AI into these soft programs, surveys,
yeah,
all of this, so at least supply chain, finance, marketing, and at least you can have daily reports and you can analyze what is really happening. You can do your tracking. That's really amazing. How can we do it in every country? And AI points out and highlight if we have some problems and what is going well, if it is working or not, what is going on with, for example, product stock products.
yeah,
We really need to continue with this media campaign. We have some out of stocks. If we are able to reach this targeted level of distribution, and you can do
yes.
it in the daily way, it's fantastic.
This is real time insights, right?
Yeah.
And what would be your piece of advice for someone starting a career in marketing today?
Young marketers need to be more, how to say, they need to rely just on one source of information. Check it from a
Mm-hmm.
different way because do your research. Don't rely on one opinion. Don't your personal maybe intuition. So at least we have to validate. We have to, because sometimes the cost of mistake is more expensive than we can pay for digital research, sampling, ask opinion, ask questions, and yes, combine this and make insights. Insight is fundamental.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Rina. That was wonderful having you. So I would like to thank everyone listening to this podcast. This today we talked to Irina Mukhametova from Kazakhstan. She is the Advanced Nutrition Category Director for IRG Brands, and she gave amazing perspectives about the importance of AI to really reshape how we have access to different data points and how we analyze different points. She talked about the nuances in Central Asia from in the different countries that affect how people do shopping, how people experience media as well. So a lot of great tips to understand how this area, despite being a big area like Central Asia, is not a big area. You have very small nuances and countries and niches that you have to look through and through to understand how the different consumers work to be able to succeed. So thank you so much for this perspective, Irina. It was amazing. And you all stay tuned for the upcoming episode soon. If you have any great experience to share, or if you know someone that have great experience to share, just send their recommendation to us. We'll be happy to look through it. And subscribe to Inside Platform's weekly updates to get everything about the industry and podcast events and webinars straight into your mailbox every week. Thank you very much, Irina, for
Thank you
being
so
with us
much.
today.
It was really a
And
pleasure
see you
to
in the
talk with
next
you.
episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.